All right, guys, you're welcome back. Up next is initializing a Git repo, a Git repository. Okay. Um, if you're starting a new project, if you have or if you have an existing project which you would like to add to Git, and then push to GitHub, then you need to initialize a new Git repo. I mean, a new Git project um, in that same folder, right, with Git init. Now, to keep things easy, normally if you want to start a project, what do? You create a folder, right, that holds the project files. Okay, so and that's what we are just going to do. That's the idea behind it. So to do that, I can use make their um, command, but let's clear this first of all. Good. I think this is a habit for me. I love just checking where I am. All right, so you can use the make there. Where do we go now? Let's go to my desktop. Let's go to desktop. So I've changed the desktop now. So in desktop, I want it in desktop. So we can say make dir. Now make dir means mk dir means mk make dir directory. I mean that's the way I interpret it at least. Make directory, and directory means folder. That's what I want to create. So what do we call the folder now? Let's call it new project. Let's put this in. Say new project. So a new project, I mean a new folder called new project is created. Let's do what I do most of the time is I do list to see if it's there. Now you can see new project. You can see it here, guys. So what's the next thing we want to do? We want to go inside that project because that's the next thing. So the cd say new, I say tab, and it gives me, and we are now in the new project. How do you know? You can see this here. Okay, and we are in it. Okay, so next thing is you want to use the ls command to check if it is actually empty. Okay, we use ls and you have nothing coming up, but the ls does not mean that there might not be some hidden content inside. Remember when I said that there can be some hidden files inside a particular folder that are preceded by dots. Okay, so what we can do is we can do lha, and let's check it out. You can see now. So this does not matter. There's nothing inside these things. It's empty, by the way. And basically, that's just it. All right. So we have the project, we have the folder created. Now we're ready to initialize the Git repository. Okay, and this creates a new. So what happens is that when we want to initialize a Git repository, what we want to do is we want to create a new folder, a new directory inside this directory that has to do with Git, where all the commits, all the version control, the version, everything will be stored inside that folder. That's basically the idea. So what we're going to be using is a command called the git init command. All these commands are just like abbreviations for normal statements. Git init command, which means git initialize. So we use the git init command, and it's going to create a new Git folder. Okay, so with this we have successfully created our uh, for I mean initialize the project. So what we'll do is you say git init, and that's all you need to do. So what you can see that it says initialize empty Git repository in blah 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 blah. New project, you now have .git. So when you say ls, when I say ls hyphen lah, so you can see the dot git now, right? Which is the most important thing. So it's only when you have this that you can now be sure that. And look at it. When I say anything that starts with D here means that the thing is a directory. Okay, so this is a directory. Let's try to see the content of this directory. Can we change? Let's see. Let's try to see if it works. Let's say dot git. Are we in it? We're in the git directory. Can you see now? Let me just hide this one. So when it gets there directory, let's list it. If there's anything here, you have some funny things here, right? So I love to explore, and that's what happens. These are the things you have, by default in the Git in the Git directory. So you have a config file which is empty. I mean, you have a config file which holds all your configuration, description, just basic, stuffs. So with this, we have created a Git a .git directory. We have initialized, a Git project, and up next is where we'll be explaining or discussing and showing us how to use various Git commands, for version control.